Okay, we've talked about supply and demand and market clearing prices. And if the market is left alone, eventually it'll get rid of surpluses and shortages. The only thing that'll adjust will be the price. Now, what happens if the government gets involved and tries to interfere with the marketplace for whatever political reason? As you look at the graph here, you'll notice something that's kind of odd. You've got the price floor on the top and the price ceiling that's on the bottom. Okay, now let me explain what price ceilings and price floors are. Price ceiling, what is going on is just like the roof above your head, the price can't go any higher than that. So as an example, the state of Hawaii might set a price ceiling, meaning the price of gas can't go any higher than $2 a gallon. Okay, so the price ceiling is the maximum legal price a seller may charge for a product or service. Once again, they've made a law that says they can't raise the price any higher than that. It's always below the equilibrium price. So even though everybody would like to pay as cheap as possible for gas, the market clearing price for gas is about $2.50 to $2.75 a gallon. So the price ceiling is always below the market clearing price. The rationale, why would the government want to do that, is so they can allow people to obtain essential goods and services that would be unable to be obtained at equilibrium prices. All right, so during World War II, the government enacted price controls and price ceilings because they didn't want profiteers to jack up the price of all the goods that were extremely scarce because all the natural resources were being utilized for the military. So they set up price controls so then the regular Americans that were still living over here could afford to buy, essential goods and services. One of the most common usages of a price ceiling is rent control. The city of Santa Monica has rent control. New York State or New York City has rent control. And what they're doing is trying to make affordable housing available for everybody. Now, some of the problems that you have with that is you have everybody that would like to get a really cheap rent control apartment in New York. So you have a huge demand. On the supply side, nobody wants to offer their properties for rent if they're not going to make a fair market price for their rents. So you have a huge shortage that will eventually develop as people pull their properties off of the rental marketplace. You have a huge demand because everybody wants a really cheap property. So then black markets could start to develop. Now on the other side, price floors, normally you'll have that in agricultural products where there would be an incentive for a farmer to cut their price because they want to, they could cut their supply so they could jack up their price. So what the government will do is guarantee that they'll give them a certain price. If they have an exceptionally good year, you know that their crop would produce a surplus. But now what you know about supply and demand, that will make the price fall. So there's no incentive for them to increase the supply. There is a strong incentive for them to decrease supply so they can make some money. So the government will step in and say, you can't buy the wheat or corn or whatever the agricultural product is below this price. So the normal market clearing price might be $2 for a bushel of wheat. They might say, the government might say it's $5. And whatever surplus is left over, the government might step in and buy that. So those are two examples of price floors and price ceilings. And I hope you understand now how the government, when they get involved sometimes, it's for political reasons. Thank you.